y'all, Noons here and welcome back to Noons Airborne RC. Today we're going to do our assembly video on the Xane MIG-17 50mm EDF. So let's get started.
Get some! Alright y'all, to go ahead and start, we're going to do the control surfaces. So let's grab a wing, it doesn't matter what side you get, and let's get that accessory bag. We're going to grab a control horn, the back plate, and 4 screws. It doesn't matter, all screws are the same size, so let's move on to the next step. Alright, so we're going to grab our wing, our control horn, and we're going to feed our screws through the control horn. Be careful, the holes are nice and tight, and the screws are nice and small and hard to hold on. At least for me, they are. So we're going to take our control horn and we're going to mount it onto the aileron control surface and get the back plate, and we're going to screw it together. Just be careful when you're screwing this together that you don't over tighten, because you'll smash the foam and weaken the area. I like to go ahead and go down just to a touch and then a quarter turn and get her nice and snug. And don't forget to flex the hinges on your control surface. And we're going to do the same thing to our other wing and our 2 elevators, and we'll be right back. Alright, for the next step, we're going to go ahead and connect the linkage and put our servo arm protector onto the wing. Now to do this, we're going to go ahead and use a servo tester and the battery so we can go ahead and get the servo into a neutral position. So we're going to connect that there and connect this here. And we got it zeroed. Now I'm going to judge if I'm going to go this way. And it looks like I'm going to go that way. I'm going to use the outer hole. Now we're just going to judge how far we're going to have to move this. I'll just move this in. So I'll grab it here. All right, now that we got it screwed down and we have a good neutral surface, we're going to go ahead and clamp that on and slide our rubber band to go ahead and make sure the clevis doesn't open. We don't need the servo tester no more, so we can disconnect that. Next, and we're going to go ahead and put the servo protector on. We're going to use foam tack. And if you look carefully, you can go ahead and see 3 holes, and you got 3 spikes there. So we're going to line that up so it's nice and straight, and we're in those indents, and we're just going to go ahead and push down to go ahead and seat that. Next, I'm going to take some foam tack, and I'm not going to use a lot. I like to get each spike in there. Do a quick once around, get some glue on there. There we go. Line her up, push her in, and call it done. Now we're going to repeat the same process that we just did here on the other wing. And then when we come back, we'll be ready to go ahead and join everything together. Now for the next step, we're going to go ahead and glue on the wings. Now before we start gluing, you want to remove as much paint from the fuse and the wing side as possible for good adhesion. Now for the vertical stab, we're going to repeat the same process by removing the paint from both sides of the surface to get good adhesion and start gluing. Next, let's loosen the set screw on the elevator servo and move the push rods back, and let's feed them through the guides. And last but not least, let's go ahead and install the clevises. And for the last part of the gluing, our horizontal stabs, again, I removed the paint from both sides of the surface, and I'm using my foam tack, putting it liberally on both sides, and we're going to go ahead and feed them in, pushing them together and making sure they're lined up. Again, make sure that your elevators are straight with your wings. Now, after you get the horizontal stabs glued on, I'm going to go ahead and use a servo tester. I connected into the elevator servo, and I'm going to go ahead and give it power. Verify she's moving, and we want to center her out. Now we can connect the clevises in the back, and then we'll come back and tighten that set screw. Basic clevis setup, I'm using the outer hole, and don't forget the rubber band. Last but not least is the set screw right up here in front. I still have it powered on. I have the control surfaces in the rear exactly leveled that the way that I want it. I got some Loctite on it just to be extra precautious. And we're going to tighten this thing down while holding it so we don't torque the screw or, more importantly, the servo arm. After you got the set screw all tightened up, come back and make sure that your surfaces are both level together. That way when you're giving it some elevator, she's not twisting on you. Alright everybody, now for the last thing. This is completely optional. If you want the pods on, I am. This will go ahead and help it keep it level when landing. I went ahead and removed the tape from the areas that we glued the pods on. I cannot remove the tape from the pod itself. It's very fragile right here, so I'm just going to use an X-Acto. And I'm going to go ahead and mar her up to make as much contact surface as I possibly can. Now, I don't see a left side or a right side on these pods. Basically what I did is I put it on the plane and see what stood up on what side. That one stood up there. This one stood up on this side. If I move them around, they fall. So this is the way I'm going to do it. So let's get to gluing. Now we just make sure the pods are parallel with the wings. Well, y'all, hopefully y'all enjoyed the build. She was pretty much straightforward and easy. Really didn't need a video for it. So, I mean, honestly, it takes longer to record and edit this video than it is to put this plane together. So if you like this video, please go ahead and give the video a like. It helps out the channel more than you think. Very nice, comparable to size, everybody. And this is the free wing. Just to give you an idea on the size, because I know a bunch of you have been on the fence wondering how big it actually is. And it goes together pretty much the same. Glue on wings, glue on tail. Nothing different. And if you guys want to get one of these, the link's down in the description at Banana Hobby. The Xane MIG-17 50mm EDF. Noon's out. Get some!